Yeah.
Welcome back to Peak Speed Lab 164, where gravity and mass meet friction and the ramp decides the results. Thanks for joining me for another episode here, my fellow Diecaster Blasters. I'm just going to keep doing it until somebody tells me not to. Or maybe I'll still do it then. I don't know. I'm my own boss. Well, sort of. My wife might disagree. Anyway, here we are. We're back in the lab, and I was trying to decide as I'm looking through the queue here what I could do that might be potentially a little bit different. I do have some super upscale models. I mean, I have some Silver Series, some other special releases and that kind of thing that I kind of want to save until we get a few more cars into the, or a few more vehicles into the pool, right? That we've already measured and tested. So this one, I don't know, it just kind of shouted out to me. The reason I picked it was because of the look. It looks like it has a bit of a shorter wheelbase. It felt lighter. Plus I love this color combination, orange and black. So here we go. This is the Zinger, excuse me, the Zinger 21C. It's backwards. This is from the Peak Pursuit line. This is one of 10. On the back, I'll show it again, but I always like to show the backward stuff. It says, race uphill and against the clock in a superior showcase of speed and power. What does that mean? I don't know, because we're not going to be racing uphill. We're going to be racing downhill. So anyway, I'm going to do the usual unboxing. We'll do the measurements. We'll do the 20 warm-up laps. We'll do the 10 official laps. Find out where she kind of lines up between the overall pool so far and within its weight class once we find out what that is. And then, of course, as always, as we want to respect the drafts people, the developers, the designers, the inspiration of these vehicles, we'll give it its moment of glory on the lighted spinning pedestal. But first, or I should say, we've already done the first. How about next we do the unboxing? Let's get to it. We've got the Zinger 21C here. This is seeing it as it's in the box where you can actually read the information here. You can see this. This is, this is like your standard, I don't know, Hot Wheels pack. It does say 192 of 250. So, I'm on it. But this is one of 10 in the series. So I'm assuming, I don't know if that means, I guess that means they only made 250 of these and this is 192. I don't know. Regardless, it feels like it's going to be an easy unboxing. Let's see if we can get it out of its blister pack. I always like to try to do this as cleanly as possible. So it's as clean as possible. So, like Yogi Berra, if it's as clean as possible, then it's as clean as possible. Pulling it out of its case. Ooh, yeah, this feels really light. Set the case on the side. We're going to see. Feels like it rolls pretty good. It does feel pretty light. We'll see what class it's in a minute. But first of all, we got to do the show off of it up close and personal. This thing is pretty sharp looking. I don't know if this would be considered a supercar or a hypercar. This has a hypercar vibe to me. Just because I'm looking at the design of the body. It looks like it's made for like a single passenger. A lot of these hypercars are really, I don't know, limited edition, of course. What do we have? Oh, we'll do the top first as usual. You got the nice little front scoop here. You got the spoiler in the back. We'll see some interesting little details with these like vents or whatever these are. Love this orange and black color. Now for the question, where is it made? Malaysia. All right. And I'm going to have to double check. This almost feels like it's a metal base. And plastic tires. definitely plastic tires. I'd be surprised if this is a metal base because it is so light, but I'm not really sure I'm going to test that. But I'm going to take a closer look here in a minute when we're off camera before we do the measurements to see. And I might have to go online and double check. This is the first one that I'm like not really sure about. But does that base feels pretty solid. The rolling feels pretty good. So I don't know. We'll see how it performs after we get it measured up. Hope you'll stick around. Just finished up the measurements. This is the first car. Looks like in the B weight tier. So it was as light as I was thinking it would be. Doesn't always happen that way, but it was kind of like right there in the middle of the zone. So my expectations are this car might end up being the fastest just because of the way it was feeling. As I was kind of measuring it and putting it at, like doing the rollback on the table, that kind of thing. But I don't know. We're gonna let the ramp decide here because we've got 20 warm-ups as usual. We'll do the tracking of the progression of the fastest and slowest lap times, and we will then do its paces through the 10 official laps. Feels a little chilly in here today, but we'll see how all that plays out. Anyway, I'm going to turn it around so that we can start as usual. You get the view of the very first run, and then we'll come back for the 10 official laps. Okay, so turn it around, turn the beat around. Love to hear percussion. Yes, I am a drummer. Okay, now I'm turning around. So it's in the middle of the track there. It's orange, kind of doesn't fade in. It sticks out with those black accents. Not as fast as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to hit the 1.7. All right, we'll see how the rest of the runs go. As with the Tesla, the very last lap of the warm-up laps, we just finished the 20 laps, warm-up laps, was the fastest lap. So, and we also had a situation where the earlier fastest lap before we hit 20, then the next lap was the slowest lap. So I found that like lap 13 was the fastest in the run up to that point, and then lap 14 was the slowest, and that ended up staying as the slowest. But that lap 20 was the fastest at 1.881 seconds. I really thought this car was going to be faster. Surprise, surprise. So again, while we measure, do it with data. Let's see how these 10 official runs go now that she's warmed up. Set up and ready to go for official lap 1 of 10. Now we start really paying attention. .877, fastest lap. Time to cue music. Well, we are on lap 10, had the fastest lap so far of between the warm-ups and the officials. And the finishing off with 1.895. Here you can see the progression of the fastest and slowest laps on the warm-ups on this side here. This is the warm-up side, and which laps, how it progressed for fastest lap, slowest lap. And then, of course, this is where we're at for the official laps, with the fastest lap looking like number 1 here, 1.877. You'll see the track info, temp, room temp, humidity. So I knew it was a little chilly down here today. Some of my initial observations, which the car was lighter. I was expecting it to be faster. It wasn't as fast as I thought it was going to be, but I don't know. Still looks pretty darn cool. We're going to enter this measurements in, excuse me, these results into the database. We'll see how, once again, she compares with the others who've been already measured and tested and overall, and then this is the first one in the B group. So she'll be the standard, the baseline, at least for now, and put her on her pedestal, on the pedestal, spinning lighted pedestal for her moment of glory. Welcome back to Peak Speed Lab 164, where gravity and mass meet friction. Okay, I'm Strick. We're at the in the lab. The ramp decides the results, and the ramp doesn't care what I think. I thought this was going to be a faster car, but it wasn't. It's the first car in the B class, so we won't know how it compares to others until we have some more that fall into that class. But in the scheme of things, it wasn't nearly as fast as I thought it was going to be. So we'll find out where it falls in the current scheme grouping of cars. This is car 26 in the lab that we've measured and tested. So we got a lot going on, trying to get through it all and then eventually move on to maybe some more fun testing. Like I talked about the 164 scale quarter-mile drag strip, which I have halfway built it, and by built I mean measured out. I know where I'm going to put it. I've got some of the pieces together, but it's gonna, it's gonna take some space, and until I'm ready to do that, I'm not going to put the rest of the track together. But at least I have the idea. I have everything from the down ramp distance, the start of the slope angle, and then the distance of the straightaway. So we got all the measurements ready to go. It's just a matter of putting it together. But we need a few more cars in the lab first. I don't know. This tested interestingly to me. Again, I thought it was going to be faster, but hey, it is what it is. So the rest of the information will be in the description. If you want to get more details, I put everything in there. In the meantime, if you haven't already, I hope you'll think about subscribing, hitting the like button, help me with the algorithms, as you know, because this is something that's going to be it's going to continue at least for a while. I think we'll give it about a year. We'll see how things are going in about a year. I've been working on this now for, I think, a couple of months. It's been more of a fun project for me. It's been interesting to see how the different measurements line up, how the different cars are made, the quality of the materials from one type of run to another, including like, hey, these low end cars, the quality may not be as good as the upper end cars, but sometimes they run faster, or sometimes they seem to be built better, even though they don't necessarily have better materials, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but hey, it is what it is. That's why I'm enjoying the process of doing this with data, finding out the reality of these 164 scale die-cast cars. So for my fellow die-caster blasters who also want to again respect the folks and the work that goes into designing, crafting, making, building, and then the inspiration for these, the orange cars moment of glory for 26. It's coming up. So here we go, on to the pedestal. I'm gonna see if I can time this just right.